Hello everyone, it is Liz from The Hug Life in collaboration with Sweet Stamp Shop, and today I'm going to be showing you an easy DIY to customize a notebook. It looks awesome and can also be a super fun and creative gift to give to a special someone. Or you could just keep it for yourself, because let's be real, sometimes that happens. Alright, you're going to need a couple things. I'm using 2 stamp sets today by Sweet Stamp Shop, Cup of Coffee and Mixed Alpha, both amazing stamp sets. Some pigment ink. Today I'm working with VersaFine Onyx Black, and some gray ink. I'm using this gray dye ink called Soft Granite by Hero Arts. You're gonna need a square Post-it note. You could also just cut out a piece of scrap paper, a white gel pen, and a pencil. Some cheap brushes? What are brushes? Brushes? And some watercolors. I'm also going to show you how to use watercolor pencils. I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to show you both, as well as some clear embossing powder, a heat tool or a hairdryer, or let's be real, a toaster, some painter's tape and or washi tape, whatever you have on hand to both decorate and to mask, and a plain notebook. You could also use a big piece of paper cut out to fit whatever size flat notebook you have, and then at the end of it, just go ahead and adhere it to whatever flat notebook you wanted to. So first, I'm going to go ahead and mask the green edge of my notebook. I like the color and I don't really want to stamp on it, so I'm going to be taking some painter's tape, sticking it onto my skin to lose some of its tackiness, and then putting it onto the binding. Goodbye, green border. We will see you in a bit. Next, I'm going to take my Post-it note and I'm going to just use it to mark out where I want my main stamping area to be. So today what I'm going to do is make a pattern background and a main focal point in the middle of my notebook. I'm using Cup of Coffee and the Daily Grind. I'm putting it on my acrylic block, stamping it up with some pigment ink, pushing it on down, and then I'm going to go ahead and bury it in a hill of clear embossing powder. Gonna shake some of that off, pour it back into its fancy container, screw on that lid because you don't want that stuff to spill. Let's just say it's not fun to clean up. I'm also going to stamp down that cute little mug and that silly cute little face. Oh, so kawaii. Again, burying it under embossing powder, putting that stuff back. I have yet to re-buy embossing powder. Am I the only one? I feel like it's really hard to use up all that stuff. And we're gonna set it with the heat tool, and now it's all shiny. So since this is the main image, I'm putting it in black and I want the pattern to be in a gray. But let's say you don't have a gray ink. I'm gonna show you how to use shadowing in order to make a gray ink. Just in case you're like, look, I'm too cheap, Liz, I don't wanna buy gray ink. So this is dye ink. Dye ink dyes the paper. Pigment ink sits on top of the paper like paint. And I'm just going to go ahead, ink this stamp on up, and I'm going to press it down. I just want to show you for reference what color this ink ends up being. And now I'm going to go ahead and stamp the black VersaFine. Now, not inking it the stamp again, I just went ahead and I stamped it twice, 3 times, lady. And you can get a similar gray ink color. So now with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and put down the 3 cute little cups onto a longer acrylic block. If you don't have a big acrylic block, no worries guys, you can use a CD case or a DVD case. I'm going to take my Post-it note, mask the area that we already stamped, and then I'm going to use the gray ink up the coffee. I heart coffee because guys, I literally run off of coffee, and stamp it down. I'm going to create this pattern going diagonally down the notebook, and I'm going to go ahead and use the gray ink and stamp up the coffee. Now, I was super worried that I wasn't going to be able to keep everything kind of going in a straight line, but even eyeballing it, and I'm going to be real with you, I have sometimes some weird like spatial stuff going on, it still turns out really awesome. So here we go, making this pattern. I'm stamping right on top of the mask. It doesn't matter. As well as you can see, I'm stamping right on top of that painter's tape. And you could do this with any stamp set. I just happen to think coffee is delicious and I really love this set. It is an oldie but a goodie. And here we go. It looks so cute. I love the pattern. I'm gonna go peel up. Oh, it's so cute. I love it. I wanted to kind of make this middle parts stand out, so I'm using some washi tape to outline the box. But you could honestly use either like the white pen or a Sharpie, anything you really want. Now for customization, you can use any alpha set. I really love these little banners. And so I'm gonna go ahead and stamp them in pigment ink and then bury them in embossing powder. Now, honestly, you could have done this when you were stamping the main middle part with the cup and the daily grind, but I forgot. And then I was like, well, I guess we should do it now. I'm gonna use my white gel pen. And as always, everything that I use will be linked in the description bar down below. Gonna go ahead now and use some cheap watercolors and just kind of color everything in. I wanted to give it this wash of green because, duh, Starbucks, but also that the binding on the side was green, and I just thought that would be really, really cute. Now, I am not the best watercolor. I am not like an artist by any means, and I'm just using the heat tool to just speed up the drying process here. But if I can do this, guys, you can definitely do this. But let's say watercolors, even this is super intimidating. Well, I'm gonna show you how to use watercolor pencils, which, to be honest, is probably my favorite way to watercolor when I'm doing fine detail work, which you'll see in a second how we do that. Now, the great thing about watercolor pencils is you can use them like colored pencils, and all you do is you just fill in the areas that you want color in, and then you activate the pigment with a brush filled with water. The pigment doesn't move unless you add a buttload of water, and that way you can do fine detail work like filling in green straws and these tiny little green mugs. But I just like the idea of having kind of that wash of color. Oh, it looks so cute! I want to eat it! But don't eat paper, because that's probably really bad for you and not a good idea. I'm gonna go ahead and take off that masking tape, and I thought, you know what, let's just run some washi down the side, because let's be real, you can never have enough washi and you can never have enough stamps. Am I right? Yes, I have a problem. And I just wanted to show you a really cute way to wrap this all up. I thought, you know, it'd be really sweet if you had a friend and you knew they loved coffee and it was like their birthday, or like maybe they had a big exam coming up. You could, you know, put a couple pens and like a gift card, and like, how freaking cute is that? Good thing this notebook has my name on it, because I'm keeping it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was inspiring for you. As always, check out sweetstampshop.com for awesome stamps. I'm Liz with The Hug Life, and I will catch you guys later. Bye, guys!